Hey everybody, welcome back to the HoloNet Marauders podcast. I'm AJ. I'm a little sleepy this morning. I don't know why.
I just woke up like 10 minutes ago.
Matt and I stayed up very late last night. I'm not proud of it. But anyway,
Yeah, no.
I'm feeling pretty bomb bad today. I think Matt's feeling fairly bomb bad.
Fairly bond bad. A little cold, but fairly bond bad.
Jamie looks fine over there. You feeling bomb bad?
Excuse me. Sure. Yeah.
She looks well rested and with a sweatshirt, so she's beat both of us right now.
I fell asleep reading Light of the Jedi last night. Like, can confirm the book
Rising
was
Storm.
in the bed.
Right?
Rising Storm.
Unless you were rereading Light of the Jedi.
Rising Storm. I was reading.
But anyways, we're joined here by a great guest today. We're joined by a Ladylorian, Dodge. How's it going, Dodge?
Hello. Good. Thanks you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Super happy to have you here.
Yeah, we've been
Thank you.
I'm a fan of the Ladylorians, since you guys pretty much got started. I found out about you guys through Michael Rexing around.
Yeah.
He came on your thing and that kind of went around. I was like, "Oh, these guys are really cool." And you guys are really funny. That's like
Oh my gosh.
No, you are.
I have one note. You know what? We're just going to get right to it. The fried chicken Plo Koon.
Oh my god, that was so good. Oh, that was so good.
I was gonna bring it up later,
Thank
but I'm like, you
you.
know what? I'm bringing it up now.
Right now.
What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, give us the full context, actually, because I don't think all of our listeners know about this.
Right.
Okay, so
Exactly.
basically, one of the Ladylorians, Izzy, is obsessed with Plo Koon, and it's like a running joke for us because we're all like, that's just like a fried chicken, like on wheels, and so it's always like the joke. Like when I go and visit her, I always bring fried chicken, and like it's just like a running joke. And so we had a birthday episode, and I was like, I need to get KFC for this thing, and then I wanted to get a mini lightsaber, but I didn't have enough time, so I had to steal my Qui-Gon lightsaber and put it inside the chicken. So like as like a little bit, I was like, we got Plo Koon on, and I thought it was really funny. I don't know if they thought it was funny, but I was like, this is like the best thing to ever happen.
That was great.
It's very memorable, at least. That's the biggest takeaway.
Thank
So-
you. Thank
That
you.
was good. And there was the whole oh, it didn't fly well, and neither did he. And I was like,
Oof.
ooh. I think that was on your highlights or something. I saw that.
Yes. Kat is so good at that one. As those one-liners, it literally threw me off. I was like, dang, I should have thought about that.
Oh my gosh, that's
No.
why I love you guys' podcast, because like it is just so like loose and funny, and you guys have a really good like rapport with each other, and I love it, and I
Yeah.
love to see it.
Aw,
And
thank you
I
guys so much.
love to see a group of ladies doing a Star Wars podcast as well. Just saying, I love AJ and Matt.
Thank
but-
you.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
We don't get you fried chicken. I'm sorry.
No, they
No,
don't.
no.
Hey, the opportunity's there.
But yeah, for the real questions now that I had for the beginning here were like,
Yeah.
when we get a new guest on, we ask them about it's kind of cliche, but their Star Wars origin story, how they got into it. And, how did that come about for you, and how did the Ladylorians really get started?
Yeah, so my personal Star Wars story, I grew up in a Star Wars family. My parents grew up going to the movies and stuff, and so they made sure when my brother and I grew up, like, we were obsessed with it too, and it was like kind of just like, it was a part of my life. I knew everything, but I didn't really love it like so much. Like I wasn't obsessed with it, if that makes sense. And so I grew up on Star Wars, and it wasn't actually until The Mandalorian came out that I became obsessed with it, because of course, I downloaded that Disney Plus the day it came out, and I was like watching all the other things. I was like, let's just go check out The Mandalorian. And then we saw Baby Yoda at the end of the episode, and it was like a switch that came on inside me. And I was like, that's Yoda, but it's not Yoda, but I don't know who that person is. And I was like, wow, I don't know anything about Star Wars. So I started obsessing over Star Wars, trying to figure out who like the child was. And I ended up just like falling in love with Star Wars, like all over again, rewatching everything and like seeing it at a different perspective, basically. And then the Ladylorians came about because when The Mandalorian came out, I'm in my Star Wars Twitter account, and all the other Ladylorians met through Twitter, actually, through Star Wars Twitter. And when we met during quarantine, like the very first week of quarantine, because we were like, we have no life and we need friends. So we made a group chat, and we started like Zooming regularly, like every single day for like 3 months straight, and we got super, super close. And we ended up meeting Michael through that. We sent him a Zoom link one night, and he like joined, and it was like, okay, hold up, like this is like Michael like Rexing around coming on, and we started talking about his podcast and stuff, and then we ended up getting really close to Michael and Janae and like some other Star Wars fans, and we always had a dream about making a podcast, and we were like, oh my gosh, we could talk about Star Wars for hours. We've been doing it for months. And so we started our podcast in November, and it's just been so much fun. We met literally so many people through it, which was kind of like the big thing about it. We wanted to meet more Star Wars fans. So that's pretty much the Ladylorians. Yeah, we're vibing, the Ladylorian show. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's amazing. And it's so cool to hear everyone's kind of how they got into Star Wars, because it's all kind of unique. You know, there's like, oh, the people that were there in 1977, of course. And there's the people, we grew up with the prequels here. And then even Jamie, you know, Jamie was similar to you, I think. And I don't want to speak for Jamie, but if you want to tell your story.
Oh, yeah. The short version is I wasn't really into it as a kid. Like, I was aware of it, and like my older siblings weren't like obsessed, but they like were into it. But like I didn't really like fall into it pretty much like until like the sequels were announced, because we like were like, oh well, we're in college, we got nothing else to do. So let's just like rewatch all the Star Wars movies, and I really like fell in love with them then, and it just like grew from there, because we got nonstop content pretty much since like 2015 or so. We've been getting that content. So I'm just like, well, this is my life now. I'm a totally different person than I was in college because I like Star Wars. That is a true fact.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was a Marvel nerd growing up. Like I was known for being the Marvel nerd. And so when Endgame came out, it was like, I was also graduating high school, and it was like a moment for me. And I was like, wow, I'm done with my nerd phase. Time to go to college, all this stuff. And then the Mandalorian came out. Exactly. And then the Mandalorian came out, and I was like, oh no, it's coming back. The nerd vibes.
Yeah, because like I loved like all like the earlier Marvel stuff, and like that was like a big thing. Like I was really into like the MCU part of it, like not as much into the comics, but like I was really big into like The Walking Dead and like really big into Batman, and so like those were like my things, and so like I was known as like, that's the girl who really likes Harley Quinn. Holy crap, you gotta like look weird. But like that was like the early bit of it, and then it switched to Star Wars instead, and so now we're here. We're making a podcast. We're meeting people. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, and go off the whole Ladylorians thing. Yeah, you guys have been doing awesome. You know,
thank you.
I feel like we're kind of on similar wavelengths with you with that, because we started our podcast during the quarantine as well. I'm sure there's like dozens of people who've done that, but you know, there was nothing to do. We wanted to talk about Star Wars, and here we are.
When did we start?
When did we start?
October.
Our first episode was around The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Ours was.
Yeah. So we're like the same as you.
We had like our blog. We had a Star Wars blog, which was the HoloNet Marauders, for like since Rise of Skywalker came out. So it was like December 2019. And then I wasn't like ready to do a podcast yet. So then it took till Mandalorian season 2 to do that. And the whole quarantine thing added to that, because there was nothing to do, I guess. And it made us all feel better and meet people. The whole thing is like, Jamie and I are big in the cosplay community.
Very cool.
And by big, I mean like
we enjoy
into it. I don't mean like we're big
love
deal.
cosplay.
Big into it instead of big in.
I'm sitting in a room that is filled with like stuff about it. Like I got like Ray's staff and Enfys's Cloud Ripper.
I saw your videos. Very cool.
Which ones?
I love them.
Yeah, lots of videos.
I saw the ones. I love your Ray costume. You look just like Ray. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah. So like we each have our own like stuff, like Jam the Jedi and like Boston Kylo. Matt is just Matt. He doesn't have social media. Except Reddit. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, he's on Reddit. Yeah. In a good way, though.
When you say it, it's gross.
He spreads the good light. The good word.
Gross. The good word. The good word is one time Matt came down to visit. He lives about like a half hour away from AJ and I, right? AJ and I live together. We're a couple, in case it wasn't obvious. But
very cool.
But we live together, so Matt comes down to visit all the time. And so one time he literally came down. He spent his entire trip down fuming about an argument he had on Reddit. And the moment he got in here, he didn't say anything to us. He was just like, hey, sat down on the couch, opens the laptop. He's typing away. We're like, what is wrong with you?
My mission, spread the good word. You just said it.
True.
Can't stop.
Oh my gosh.
Not a good word.
Not a good word. It was something else.
I mean, when the Ladylorians became together, it was like all online, right? So we just would constantly like argue with not like argue like in a mean way, but like some of our friends are like big Raylos, and that was like when Rise of Skywalker was still like the thing. And so we would be like, we need an emergency Zoom, and we'd all come on the Zoom and be like attacking people.
Arguing about Star Wars online is an addicting pastime that I just can't break from. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's so much fun. I will admit, it is a lot of fun.
It is. It could be like very stressful at times, but then you find your like groups of people that you like really click with, and it makes sense. Which is how like we get like these little subsets of podcasts and little communities within our own. It's really funny how it like works that way. It's like, oh, and then you can get in your own arguments against someone else, and it's like, well, I don't want to do this, but
and it's all friendly.
I am.
So.
Yes, all friendly.
Yeah.
We're all fans, right? That's
exactly.
Yes.
But I guess we're here to talk about the Bad Batch today, right?
I guess.
Although this conversation has been good stuff.
We get off the rails really quickly, like all the time.
All the time.
And Adrian will try to reel it back in. So
I try.
Yeah, it's a podcast. It's all good.
So we're here to talk about episode 9 and 10, Bounty Lost and Common Ground, which are totally two like lost.
You said lost, okay.
I think Bounty Law.
Bounty Law is Quentin Tarantino. Let's not cross over here.
That's right.
In the prep for this, AJ was like, "What was it called?" I was like, "Oh, it was Bounty Lost," and he's like, "Oh, Bounty Law, like from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood." And I'm like, "No,
it's just stuck in."
And
my head.
now I thought you said it. So Bounty Lost, and
with Cad Bane.
What's the other one?
AJ has it in front of him.
Common ground. It doesn't help that my note literally just says "live to fight another day" like on the top of the page. Because, that's all that matters in that episode. But
my notes say fried chicken Plo Koon, so
only thing that matters.
Yeah, I have it circled.
So Bounty Lost.
Bounty Lost.
We'll start there. This is the episode in which Cad Bane has Omega. And the Batch is trying to find her, and then Fennec Shan shows up, and
gets on with a Camino in from the tube. That's my favorite part of the whole episode, when she gets buried under the clone.
Vets. Oh my gosh, disgusting.
Oh yeah, the vat of a day earlier, that little trailer came out, and I posted like, "What's in the vat?" jokingly, and someone responded, they were like, "Mountain Dew," and I'm like, "Okay."
Ew.
I mean, I guess
that's even more gross.
I know.
That grosses me out even more.
Yikes.
What do we think was going on there in that little abandoned outpost?
Cloning.
Right. But there was the Kaminoan in the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was
Celestin.
Celestin. I think another species too. One kind of looked like an Abednito, but I don't know.
They were obviously just trying to like clone as many different species as possible. I think that one big thing that is overlooked a lot with the Kaminoans in general is they've been doing this a long time, and the clone army is not their first set of clones.
They've developed a reputation by the time of Attack of the Clones because prospectors on Sub-Terrell know about them.
Yes.
So this is some kind of like old facility. Probably rich clients want to clone themselves to, I don't know, hang out with themselves, or
that's a good theory.
That's a good theory. Like that.
I mean, that's what I'm assuming. I mean, you don't become like super wealthy and build like these giant facilities from cloning normal people who pay like $15. Hey, $15. I'd like 5. I'd like 5 of me, please.
$15.
I need friends.
That is a steal.
Exactly. I need to make a Star Wars podcast. Can you make a few?
I don't have anyone to talk with, so can you make 5 more of me to talk to?
Oh my gosh.
But we see Omega is captured by Cad Bane in the previous episode and brought to this abandoned outpost. What was the planet again? Do we know?
Ooh, I call it Sky Camino. I'm sorry.
We'll call it that. Skymino.
Skymino.
I don't know. Did they ever say it? They said the system that it was in.
Yeah,
I don't know if they ever said it.
It's when Cad Bane's chilling in the front and you see the hyperspace around him, and then Star Wars recently like reposted like that just as like a GIF, and he's just like chilling on like with his feet on the dash, and it's like
that was
this
good.
Man should not look this fine, but he does.
Love him.
I love Cad Bane.
He's great.
Cad Bane. Oh, I love Western in Star Wars, like the little hints and Cad Bane, just so good.
He's like a punch in the face in terms of hints. I mean, the cowboy hat, the showdown, the music.
That's all it is.
Like the toothpick.
Yeah, he's got really dirty teeth.
Talk about this endlessly. How Star Wars is just a Western. Like people always say like it's a blend. Obviously, like it's a fantasy in space. It's a space opera. It's kind of a samurai movie. But I got the samurai this time, man. I didn't forget it. But at its core, for me, at least a lot of this content, it is a Western in space, and I can't get enough of it. Like. I can't get enough of it. I love it so much. Between the Mandalorian and Cad Bane, and like the score alone for like these past the entire like season so far, like for Cad Bane's theme, like I have been clamoring for it, and it finally came out last week. And it was, this is just a random side note, but like when I was like listening to it on Spotify, you can like see like the listens, like how many times all the songs were listened to so far. So like by the time when the album came out, obviously there was like no listens. And so after it's been out like a week or so, the most played songs are Omega's theme, and then The Bounty Hunter Has Returned. And I'm like, that's all we need. That's all we need. Everyone loves those two songs and those two songs only. Good.
Like, it's literally like I have such a love for I love Cad's theme as well, but Omega's theme just like,
oh my god.
Even today I was just been like listening over to it, and like I've loved How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know if you guys ever seen that, but the score is very similar, and it's just like such a feel good score. It's so good. I love it.
I haven't thought about How to Train Your Dragon in forever. I've like only seen the first and maybe the second one. I don't remember, but like, oh my god, that's really close. That's
pretty cool. That's a cool comparison.
Just like the vibes are just immaculate. I love them.
Wow, I haven't written that shorthand of How to Train Your Dragon in a while. The HTTYT. All right, score. But yes, how else are you feeling? Toto? I love Toto and Omega.
Matt doesn't like Toto, but I thought he was good in that episode.
I liked Toto better in episode 9 than I did in Clone Wars, like regular Clone Wars appearances. He's Seth Green. It's like
right.
You have to get used to him. No, you know what? It's gonna be funny because we're gonna get Seth Green on this one day, and he's gonna be like, "What do you have a problem with me?"
Right, we're gonna get Seth Green.
No,
I mean. They make fun of him on Family Guy, so like I think it's fair.
One day they'll release Detours, and he'll start doing the rounds and Star Wars Detours. See, literally the other day they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not releasing that," so don't get your hopes up.
Your hopes are up.
I have like a love-hate relationship with Seth Green because he plays like one of my favorite characters in I don't know if you guys like Ninja Turtles. He plays a Ninja Turtle, and it's literally the only character that I love that Seth Green has ever voiced. And so when I was rewatching this, I had just watched Ninja Turtles like a few weeks ago, and I was rewatching it, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that Leonardo the Ninja Turtle in the robot body? And I was like freaking out.
I love when you recognize someone like that. Like at one point, literally in this like one episode as well, some inflection he had, I was like, that was Chris Griffin. Like, what's going on here? Like, I just like lost it.
You hear it, you're like, wait.
You're like, you can't unhear it.
Yes.
Yeah. All I'm thinking about right now is voiceovers and Owen Wilson.
Wow.
And I've seen Dodge. I've seen you tweet about Lightning McQueen.
Oh,
right?
Love that
Big Lightning McQueen fan. We're getting a little sidetracked here. But in Loki, whenever Owen Wilson was like off screen, but there's like a line of him off screen, I would just think of Lightning McQueen.
Oh my god.
Because that's all you can hear.
Literally. Literally.
Just the voice.
I had to mention that because you guys were talking about voiceovers and different characters. That's all I could think of.
I literally cannot. I was watching an Owen Wilson film last night, and I literally was like, it's literally Lightning McQueen. I don't understand how no one can like separate Lightning McQueen from Owen Wilson. Like I'm like, and it's just Lightning McQueen. Like I was ready for them to pop up. This is like spoilers, I guess. Have you guys all watched Loki?
Yes.
Yeah.
The news. Okay, at the very end where like they show the different Lokis, I was like, if there's not Lightning McQueen, I'm suing.
Mobius, Lightning McQueen.
Oh my god, imagine.
The guy from Wedding Crashers. I don't know what else is there.
I think I saw that meme.
The cowboy from Night Museum.
Dude,
yeah.
Yes.
The cowboy from Shanghai Noon.
What's his name? What's his name in Night at the Museum?
I don't remember.
Jeb or something.
Jedediah.
Jedediah.
Yeah.
Jedediah.
Not that we just watched that recently. We did, and I was making
3 weeks
crazy
ago.
comparisons a few weeks ago to something. I don't remember what, but
back to the Bad Batch.
back to the Bad Batch.
We're over at the
Sorry,
Ned
sorry.
Museum.
Hey, we were talking about
That's okay.
westerns earlier. We're keeping on track.
Oh yeah,
This is more on track
Yes.
than usual.
it was
so.
my fault.
No.
I
I'll go
had
ahead,
a question
AJ.
though about Cad Bane. What was his score like in Clone Wars? I don't really remember it, but it wasn't
Must
westerny, right?
I don't think
Interesting.
so. I don't remember. I'll be honest, because like I'm
Me
not
neither.
like that. I haven't rewatched enough of the Cad Bane stuff to know.
Right.
I mean, like it wasn't like him operating by himself really as much, because the biggest arc with him is the whole crashing the Senate thing, right?
Yeah,
Or
with
trying to kidnap
Obi-Wan
someone.
undercover.
Crashing this.
Yeah.
Crashing the Senate.
Wedding
Yeah, so-
crashers. It's all connected.
Yeah,
Oh my
Cad Bane's
God.
not like the main person and the main character of like that bit. So I don't know. This is probably gonna get a lot of you guys don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Who
I
knows?
remember.
Whatever.
I like Bad
Sorry, you
Batch
don't
Cad
know.
Bane.
Cad Bane score. Thanks. Sorry,
Bad
guys.
Batch Cad
I
Bane.
was just curious.
I don't remember.
I don't remember it
know.
either. So, all in the same boat.
But
Lost.
Fennec shows up.
Talk about
Yep.
another
Love her.
incredible theme.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good.
So good. So good. One thing that I love about this episode is Omega pretty much just saves herself. The batch just happens to find her because like she breaks out of the cell by talking. So she breaks out of the cell, uses her little diplomacy skills, and then it's great. And then she runs away, and then she outsmarts everyone and listens, but then like listens to the batch when she makes contact, and then she just takes it upon herself just to get out of there. She literally saves herself, and everyone else just happened to be in the right place, right time to pick her up, which is good. But like, you got like 4 dopes chasing after her, just like they have no idea what they're doing. They're just so worried to find her, and like they have no idea what's happening. Like they're just like, where is she? What's going on? And
Well, that reminds me of The Force Awakens. Rey does basically the same thing. Breaks out on her own, using her
yeah,
That's true.
force
And then-
diplomacy, I guess. Can't really say it was all willing, but
and then
of
she
course
has
you have
3 dopes to come
the
after
3
her.
dopes who come after her.
Yes,
Good Lord.
exactly. I don't know how the Bad Batch like found her pod like when she was escaping,
Oh,
like how
that
they
happened so
caught it.
quick.
Like how did they just like know like that was
Yeah.
her, and how did they find her? Because she was in. I don't know. I was that whole part. I was like, how did they? The
Yeah.
talent, I guess. I don't know.
Pure talent.
It was all gonky.
It was all gone.
It was all gonky. It was gonky all along. That is true. No, I mean like let's take a look see. Not that I have the Havoc Marauder ready to go, but I've been obsessed with this ever since I found it. So
Waiting
like
for an
as it's like
excuse.
zooming in, right? There is enough space. That's where like the stand goes. Don't mind this. There is enough space for like a pod to just like connect to it, which makes sense, right? Because then they come up in the middle. But like I guess if they're going traveling enough, they have their own little tractor beam, but it doesn't make any sense because
But
like
how did they like? Did they know what planet she was on though? Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
so she got enough of a signal and then she boosted the
Right.
power so that way Tech could find it. And then they just went and then they're like, I guess this is gonna work. And then they saw an escape pod, so they were probably like, oh, that's her. Cause like we have 4 brains
true.
working at the maximum capacity. By 4 brains, I mean it's half of like 1.
Yeah.
Because in a panic, I don't think that
One brain
any
cell.
of them, 1 brain cell amongst all of them, that doesn't count for anything. So like there they go.
I just
I don't know.
love I
That
love
entire sequence
Wrecker
though.
just like popping his head up.
I
Like the happens and
know.
he's just like, hello.
yeah, that was great.
Hello, Omega.
I love
I
it.
love them.
I loved the reunion, and then they're all just like there, and even Gonki's in the background, like, yay, she's back. Like, even the Gonki was excited. It was just like, I love
Well, he
them
was the
so
one who
much.
found her, so
Gonki is the one that found her. Gonki is the answer to all of this. That
gets
is
the credit.
that's true.
Exactly.
he's the key to all of this.
Underrated king.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just like those special moments when they're like all reunited or like they're all together and stuff. Just I love it so much. I love their relationship with Omega, and I love seeing it progress over the episodes.
I know
Love
it's
them.
it's crazy. I keep going back and being like, oh, when this show was announced, we thought it was just gonna be like the 4 or 5 dudes like going around the galaxy and whatever. But
4 or
Omega
5
was
dudes.
introduced, and Omega really drives the show. She really does.
Yeah.
And their relationship with Omega is amazing, like you said. Which, you know, scenes with Omega and them, it brings us into episode 10 now. I didn't know if we were done with 9 or not, but you know, they're
Yeah,
she's on
I mean-
Wrecker's shoulders eating the popcorn.
So good.
living the dream.
They're really trying to get that into Galaxy's Edge. They're like trying to.
So they like loosely have it. They've already like had like a type of the popcorn, but like new flavor. Speaking of flavors of popcorn, why is Echo sniffing the popcorn?
I was wondering that too. Like I don't know if it's like it looks like it's like kettle corn, but like kettle corn doesn't really smell like it's like caramely, I guess. But like when I don't know, I was like, dude, come on, why are we doing that? And I don't even think he ate it.
I got two thoughts.
I think he just smelled it and put it back.
So there's two thoughts going on about Echo and the kettle corn, which is way more thoughts than there should be, honestly, because it's just a throwaway. He's sniffing the popcorn as like a cutaway, right? Two thoughts. First thought is Echo is the mom of the group, and he's just making sure it's safe because he's like, what is this garbage? Anyway, so that's thought number one. Thought number two, since like Echo was like hooked up to like the machine for like a year and like a half, his stomach is probably the worst in the galaxy. So maybe he wanted to try it and was nervous to try it because he didn't know if it was going to make his stomach upset, which is a high possibility. Because like if you look at the way that like, not that I've like paused on this like one scene like for like a day, because I have so stupid. Tech is literally staring at him like, "Hey, you gonna eat that? What's going on? Like, what are you doing? What's happening here?" And I'm like, "It's like, yeah, Echo's eating something." And so it was like, it looked like they were like cheering him on, kind of, but like he's just sniffing it.
I didn't even think about that.
This is why people come to us for the Echo's gastrointestinal.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to know. We need to know.
I really want to know why he sniffs it. If I had one question for the show developers and whatnot, I would ask that.
Why is Echo sniffing the popcorn?
Maybe he's so used to just like the military meals and whatnot. I don't know. He's never had any fun in eating like a funny snack. That's my theory.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Do we see him actually eat it?
No, I don't think so. I might go look it up now.
This is a tragedy, actually.
We don't. He just like sniffs it and like that's it. And like also like with the popcorn.
Maybe it becomes like a side story. Like he gets closer and closer to eat it every episode, and then finally in the last episode, he takes that bite, and it's like finally.
Yeah, because he hasn't like
his arc will be complete.
I guess I'm going too deep here, but he hasn't like found himself really yet. So maybe he's like him sniffing the popcorn is like his way of.
In this.
He hasn't found himself yet. And eventually he's gonna eat it. Yeah.
But really though, to actually branch off that though, this episode was really big for Echo. In the whole sense of they have to go rescue a separatist because Echo just doesn't want to. And then they all kind of just like sweep it under the rug. They don't like really hear him out at all, which is kind of like garbage from on their side. Like what like he's one of your brothers and you're not gonna like even like listen to him. They definitely could have like listened to him, but that's a different story. But like Echo doesn't want to do it the entire time because the guy's a separatist, because he has all of his reasons to not. Like the separatists made Echo how he is now, and they had to go deal with it anyway. I love how like Wrecker like took his side immediately, and he was like the only one to really like do whatever. And then it made sense that Tech sided with Hunter because Tech is just going to do whatever Hunter says, because that's even like a point like in the show, like the senator's literally just like, oh, you have to trust me, and Tech just looks at Hunter and doesn't like say anything himself, but Hunter's like, all right, cool, we'll do it. So it just like shows like where Wrecker will trust his heart, and then like, but Hunter is still the one in the charge at the end of the day. That's my deep take.
I feel like it's so like sad watching that though, because Echo has always been sort of the leader of the team, and now he just kind of doesn't know what to do, because he does know Hunter is the leader of the team. They both like respect each other in that way, but Echo, like that was his like, that's who he was the leader. And so now it's like, he had all of his brothers killed, or at least a lot of them killed, and now he's half robot and he doesn't know who he is, and he now can't even be like the leader of a team or have some sense of like authority in it, I guess. And so it's kind of figuring out where he still is in the Bad Batch, because I do agree, like he doesn't know who he's supposed to be in the Bad Batch, and I hope at the end of like this series, or at least this season or something, that we see more of like the brotherhood between Echo and the rest of the team, because I feel like that's still something that we haven't really seen a lot.
Yeah, it's still not 100% there.
That'll be very satisfying, and of course, like it'll make for a better like character development. If they start off kind of rocky, and they even like point out in episode 1 that Echo doesn't fit in yet because, or he's still new to the team because the whole smell in their room and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh, you're still new."
Here we go with Echo
like,
sniffing again.
Yeah, Echo sniffing.
I'm gonna go back to Echo in the sniffs.
His sense of smell.
No.
What is with it?
Oh, jeez.
He's tied to his arc, guys. The popcorn was more important than we thought.
It was. Look
Yeah.
at this. It is. I mean, like, think about it. Like, episode 2, like, Wrecker bumped his head. Like, I thought hilariously, like, in the behind the scenes, like, when they were on Seleucami, and I thought it was the funniest goddamn thing. And then it ended up being, like, the main driving force of, like, the next, like, 4 episodes. And I'm like, oh, yikes.
Wait, hold on.
So everyone pay attention to Echo sniffing things, because
Yeah, we used to have
maybe
the
it'll...
Hunter or the Wrecker head hit count, and now we have the sniff count for
So
Echo.
now we'll
Sniff
do
count.
the Echo
I
sniff
know.
count. Right.
We have like 1.5 sniffs, maybe 2
Two
sniffs.
sniffs.
Two sniffs.
He
Okay,
sniffed
okay.
the rum, he
Two
sniffed the
sniffs.
popcorn. 1.5. I don't know how you half sniff something.
I hate this. I absolutely hate this.
It's
You
great.
guys have to
We're
mention
on.
it, like the sniff count on every episode. Just be
I
like,
will.
okay,
Yeah.
the sniff count is now
Writing it down.
We're
It's
up
2
one more
right now.
point.
We're gonna be
I-
at the end of the season. We're gonna be like, all right, still 2 sniffs. We're waiting on one
Sniffs,
more
Holding
sniff.
on strong.
Five
All right, so there's the clone uprising going on. Oh no, wait, we got to talk about the sniffs.
And Echo sniffing in the background in this one shot. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure. Context
sure.
clues.
Well, to keep us on track with Echo though, he obviously doesn't fully accept that they saved a separatist, but he gives them the best advice that he can: live to fight another day, which
Oof.
I'm sure all of us here are aware of was exactly what Hardcase said right before he sacrificed himself for the Ibarra campaign. And my heart shattered because I can't even explain why it shattered. Just hearing Echo say "live to fight another day" is just like, that's a 501st thing. Like, it's definitely something that like Rex would just like say to everybody, and they're just passing it along. And I just can't get enough of it because like Echo is still finding himself, and he still feels obviously like his past self. He's not a new person, and he's finding that person, and it's becoming clear to Hunter because like Echo questions like everything that Hunter does. So guys, live Hardcase. How? Wow.
I wonder if Echo was telling that to himself when he was like hooked up to everything. Like as the
Ooh.
days went by, he kept on just saying "live to fight another day."
Now you're gonna kill Jamie.
I'm sorry, but that just came to me, and I was
That's
like,
good, though.
"Wow, that's emo." But
I
like,
mean, he had
I
to.
wonder if, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Poor man.
Wow.
I just
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
be happy.
Pictures of
Oh,
popcorn
wow.
dancing in his head while he's
The popcorn is
eating that
the bridge to
phrase.
happiness for him.
Yeah.
The popcorn is the key to all of this.
It is.
Exactly.
They're gonna make Gonky a popcorn machine by the end of the season.
And we still haven't. Oh my god,
You've heard it here first.
Luke, that's gonna be a
This
that's
is
gonna
a
be a
week.
celebration exclusive. Donkey popcorn machine.
You should make your Gonk droid a popcorn machine.
Yes,
I was
we
gonna make him a
should.
phone charger.
Why not
So
both?
He can be multi-talented.
He can be both.
So we
Yeah,
are
okay.
building a gonk droid, like a life-size gonk droid. But anyway, popcorn
That's
machine.
another thing.
Putting that right next to How to Train Your Dragon in my notes.
Popcorn.
Gonky.
Perfect.
That's beautiful. Speaking of droids, y'all, we got to talk about my favorite girl, GS8. I love this
Oh,
protocol droid.
Yes.
I loved it. It was another like huge piece of they're trying to find their place in the galaxy with the batch because like they still don't trust droids. They're so standoffish immediately finding out that a protocol droid was the one that requested the help. And
Mhm.
I just loved everything about GS8 also. Like she was just like she's a well-rounded protocol droid because like
Mhm.
very like strict but also very like flexible in the sense of all right, yeah, sure, I'll like work with you guys and do what you need to do. But like then she got like really excited like helping them. Like I could do this. This is no problem. And then just so protective of both
She
obviously
saved the
the
base.
senator and of that ancient vase. Like I can't get enough of GS8 in the vase. Like that is it. That was like my one takeaway from this episode is GS8 in the vase. That's it. I love her.
You kind of.
I love her.
She reminded me of like and this is kind of because of what you said, Jamie, yesterday. If you want to bring up the fact in a minute, but
Yeah.
she reminded me of like more polite L3. Like if L3 and 3PO.
It works. It
Yeah,
works.
Cross those wires.
Yeah. And then Jamie pointed out that
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. So while we were watching the episode, I'm like, oh, this droid, like this voice just sounds familiar. So I was like, let me like look it up to see like who it is, and it turned out to be no one that I knew. However, this is the funnest of facts. This is a really fun fact. So GS8 is voiced by Cyan Clifford. So Cyan Clifford is a actress who was on the show Fleabag, in which she played Phoebe Waller-Bridge's older sister. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was L337. So these two actresses literally played each other in a different show, and so these voices sounded similar enough in which the droids like sounded similar. So I thought that was like really, really like a fun little like reference. Like overall, it's like, oh yeah, like these droids do sound similar because they played sisters in another show. It's so cool.
Okay,
So
respect on the research. Respect.
Yeah.
Dang.
Standing
Just
ovation.
keep diving into. I think I know that voice. I don't know that voice. I've never seen Fleabag. I've heard it's a fantastic show, but like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
The vase
Waller-Bridge.
moment also reminded me of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade with the dad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. It's a fake. You can see it in the cross section.
Yeah, I didn't
love
think- I
it.
didn't
It's like
think
my
of that.
favorite line.
That's
so
good.
good. Oh my god.
Raxus
I-
was. Oh, go ahead, Dodge.
I was just gonna say, like, I love our little robot queen, like, becoming like, oh no, I don't want to like help out and stuff, and then at the very end, she's like, I got this, boys, and Jen is like, no, this is not the time.
So good. Like I love that scene because she's like, oh, I got the hang of this, no problem. And like right before that, like Hunter's literally like, oh, Tech, bring Omega with you and do X, Y, and Z. And Tech's like, I can't. Like she's not here.
It's impossible considering she's not here.
In the most tech way possible. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, no, Omega's not here, it's like, that is quite impossible. You see, it's like, shut up, Tech. Come on.
Sassy boy.
I really
And then
want GS8. I really want GS8 to join the crew. Like I thought that was going to happen, but then they kind of just went into the back of the bar, and we don't know what
Getting
happened.
into this talk that upset me yesterday. I won't have it. They already have a droid. They already have a droid.
But I said just added to the team this time, so I
Two
changed what I
droids?
said.
There's
Dude,
not,
look,
not enough space.
3PO and R2 were a thing. So I mean,
Let me rehash. So Gonk droids are important, obviously. We know this. Gonky can provide power to the Havoc Marauder. No problem. Gonky can do that. However, these guys need a droid because the way that they like set up like meeting GS8 is like they're all just like, oh god, it's a droid, and then like the entire time like Hunter's just like droids, like these guys suck, and like they all hate droids, and it's just like these guys need a droid for like that sole reason. The conflict is already there. Plus, every single Star Wars crew has a droid.
right?
Like we have Chopper, we have
True.
BB-8, we got Dio, we have R2 and 3PO, obviously. So like every single like group in Star Wars has their own droid. And then like Din Djarin has Baby Yoda. So I mean like you
okay.
give and
Well,
take.
he
what you
had
can.
hates
IG-11, but
Yeah.
True.
I'll
True.
give you this. Usually droids come in pairs. The short one and then the tall one. So
Mm.
Gonky
So,
can be the short
Gonky-
one. GS8 can be the tall one. Unless
the
Gonky pulls a chopper on her and kicks her out of the ship. Because there isn't enough
Spaceship.
room for two droids.
I could see it. He's a
Like,
bad
look,
batcher after all.
Like Gonky is tough. Gonky is Marauder tough. Okay,
That's right.
but like they don't know what Gonky is saying because he's just gonking along. But like GS8 would be able to translate these gonks for him, and we would know if Gonky has a
gonking along.
personality. Like I like to think that Gonky does. Maybe Gonky hates it when Wrecker like deadlifts him. We have no idea. But
He probably does.
he's rather like I can't.
Like, please stop lifting me. This is hell. It's a
Exactly.
cancer. I need off
He is
to
the hide
ship.
and seek champion. So
That's true.
Like okay, but like the way that like the episode ends, we haven't even talked about Omega yet, guys. The way that the episode ends is like Sid literally brings the Senator Avi and Avi Singh. She brings the senator and the droid like just with her into her back room, and like that's it ends differently. But like we know that they'll be around next episode because either they need to get brought somewhere or they need to get disposed of. So the droid will appear again, and maybe they'll just take it. We're just gonna take this droid and leave.
I hope
like
so.
like Anakin and Padme just steal 3PO from.
Yeah,
the-
they literally
Azkaban.
do.
they take him back.
They just
Like
steal
he's
him.
literally like, oh, I don't want to be on this ship, and then they fly away, and he's like, oh, guess I'm on this ship.
There I am.
Like, what do Owen
There.
and Baru say? Like, do they turn around like, oh, where's 3PO?
They stole my droid.
Yeah, right. And then later on,
And then Owen buys it 20 years later. Wait a
He has
minute.
no idea.
Scam. What a scam. Dude got scammed.
Yeah.
Steal a droid,
dude.
resell it.
He bought the same droid twice.
How did he not realize that? How? Oh, wait, no.
Because
I'm
3PO
sorry.
was silver, and then
No.
he was gold.
Also,
Oh, no.
3PO never says his name, which is also pretty sketchy that Owen is like just buying droids, even though they don't even introduce themselves. Rude.
Yeah.
How
Seriously.
rude.
Yeah.
How the heck did we get to that?
We got to talk about Omega and her Dejarik.
Yeah. She got the
Skills.
Queen's Gambit going on
Hollow
over there.
chest.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
That was-
Seriously.
Man.
I love how in the last 2 episodes, Omega's really pulling her weight in the team. We're slowly seeing she's becoming like more and more lovable in like the doing things that help out everyone's side of things. So I loved that she helped do their debt, and now we can move on from Sid, or at least we think that we can move on from Sid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like this very neatly wrapped up everything with Sid, because Omega was like, I need to help, like I want to help, and she cleared everything out, and they're like, all right, we can leave.
Yeah.
Like it's just so neatly tied up and done now, and they're like, oh well, what do we do now? And it was just, I love the way that they did it too. With she's just like really good at strategy, and it's like, oh okay, well it's making us think more about what's going on in her brain, and like how did she like learn this? I mean, if I think that like she's obviously really good at strategy, but it's probably also she's just been watching everyone play the game the entire time anyway, so like therefore she can just figure out what's best anyway. So it might just be like the Dejarik strategy, not like overall strategy, but who knows?
I still haven't gotten an answer on whether or not any of the moves that anybody plays on screen are actually legal moves, because the game actually exists and has rules, and I'm like, I don't know the rules, so
And we need to play some
are they playing
Yeah.
street Dejarik, or are they playing like regulation rules?
It's the same thing. We'll be playing on the street.
Yeah.
Oh boy. It's so good. Like I love the duo in Sid's bar also of Bolo and Catch. Like they're great.
Yeah.
Like I love how like
Yes.
Sid just straight up's like gets mad at Omega and she stomps away, and they're just like, it's not cool. That is not cool that you just did that to that little kid who's in a bar. Like that is not cool at all. But like it's good because like it's funny to see like regulars in the bar, and it's like we keep saying, it's just Cheers in space, because like the actress who played Sid was like literally like the
Rhea
waitress in
Perlman.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh well, we have the regulars,
It's
we
space
got
Cheers. I'm gonna miss it.
space Cheers. Maybe they'll go back. You never
I am
know.
gonna miss it a little bit, but we got to move on. We got to move on from Sid in the bar and
Hey,
or
they
Mantell.
just got around to giving her any character development at all, and now
True,
we gotta leave
Yeah.
her. Like,
I'm wondering.
They're
if
like,
there'd be,
that's
a
enough. Get her
payoff.
out. Get her out.
yeah,
Like, what
exactly.
if-
Like, what is that?
What if the Empire finds where the batch is? This is my theory. They find where the batch is. They go to that bar, and Sid like covers for them or does something as they get away. Because I feel like it needs to pay off for like Sid to help them.
I think that it could. I think that it would, actually, because the whole way this episode went is Sid's slinging like nicknames at all of them between like Goggles, Bandana, Dark and Broody, and Tiny in the very beginning. Not that I counted. And then at the very end, she calls Omega Omega. She doesn't call her Tiny, and so it's like Omega has Sid's full respect because she paid off the full debts and like helped her. And so I feel like Sid will return a favor if it comes down to that, in which like the Empire like is chasing them down or has finally found them on Ord Mantell, even though it's been a couple months, and very clearly there's these 4 very like not in place clones walking around
In armor.
Yeah, I know, in clone armor.
A bunch of dopes. Why are they walking? Like they stick
They're
out
not
so
smart.
much. Like one
One
brain
brain
cell. One brain cell between all of them. It doesn't matter.
What is like their
It-
next move? Do
yeah.
you think?
That's a good question, because
They still didn't want to. They weren't ready to join Rex. I still don't think they are for whatever reason.
I know.
And it seems like they're done doing the jobs for now. But have
Yeah.
they made money? Did they paid off their
No.
debt? But did they make money?
No.
So there you go.
Well,
They'll start to make some money, I guess.
Yeah.
they paid off debts, but like Sid still paid them. So, I don't know.
They'll travel the
no idea.
galaxy, and Omega will swindle more people in Dejarik for the next couple
Hey,
episodes.
that's
There you go.
good plan.
That's a really good plan. And then it'll really be Queen's Gambit up in here, in which like the parent is just reaping the money from the kid who's like winning all these matches.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
my
gosh,
God.
that's
Thing fell behind me and it scared me. I thought there was a snake.
Oh
Oh,
jeez.
I live
I
in
see that
Florida,
happening.
and so I'm like, everywhere I go.
Snakes and alligators.
Sorry, I just threw you guys way off. I literally thought I was about to die.
No. Don't.
Speaking of Florida, Raxus looks nothing like Florida, but I wanted to talk about
fall in New England with all like the red trees.
Yeah, what the hell was that all about? All the red like fall leaves and
Oh, it
stuff.
looks great.
Like Halloween.
It looked like somewhere in Europe or something.
Yeah. To me, it felt like the first I felt like one of the first planets where I was like, wow, this could be Earth. Like, I could see this being it. Like, felt really familiar. Like, I felt like I'd been there before. And I was like, whoa, I kind of like this place.
Yeah, the city streets and whatnot just looked like futuristic, like, I don't know, like Copenhagen or something. I don't know, somewhere in Europe, like I said.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I could picture Andor or Mando or one of these shows, like going there in live action. It would look so cool.
Did you say Mandor?
Mandor.
I was thinking Mandor.
Hey, that would be a hell of a team up.
That would be.
Diego and Pedro.
Well, they can't. So.
I can dream though.
True, they can't. Hey, we didn't see them die. They just the planet just blew up.
World between worlds.
Kylo Ren got off.
Through.
If Kylo got off Starkiller Base, they could have got off. But anyways, Raxus was beautiful.
Yes.
Each planet they've really gone to in this show has been like gorgeous, and I guess that goes to the whole animation skill of the show.
Yeah,
they've done a hell of a job.
We've talked about it before with how like Lucasfilm Tech has always like Lucasfilm Animation and just like they've always pushed as hard as they can for being like the next cutting edge of all animation and like special effects, obviously. And it just goes to show that like this show is just so gorgeous in just like the visuals alone, and then you add on all the storytelling and everything, but like the whole all of it is just so gorgeous. Like Braca is probably still my favorite planet, but Raxus was really, really cool. Like it like in like you guys have all been saying, like it felt like somewhere I'd like been before, which is like weird to see in a Star Wars setting, but it was cool to experience that, actually be like, oh wait, this seems like it could be like a real place, or it seems like I know where this is, kind of thing.
It had a lot of Naboo vibes.
Yeah. A little. Yeah.
Which looks like Earth, because they shot it on location on Earth in Italy.
They shot it on location.
They shot it on Earth.
They shot it on Earth.
What a sentence.
They didn't go to Geonosis for that one, guys. They shot it on Earth.
Sadly, the budget.
No, probably not.
Oh god.
Huh.
You're baffled by your own statement that
I just didn't know where to pivot to next.
Speaking of pivots, I loved the little chase with the AT-TEs.
Good one, yeah.
That's a good pivot, because turn the ships.
Good segue.
The walkers. I love how theirs literally gets like the legs like blown off the back pretty much, and Tech's like, oh, it just needs a manual recalibration, and then he's just out there with his like little iPad just like, and it's like, what are you couldn't have done this from like inside, like what are you doing? I love that. I just loved everything about that, because like we don't really like, we've seen like the AT-TEs like in action before, but like this was just really cool to see them like in a cityscape of like navigating down the streets and then literally walking over each other and blowing each other up, and it's just so different, and but it felt the same.
Each other, yeah.
Well, they were. It was really cool.
Yeah. They do walk over each other.
Yeah, no, that was
really
cool.
Better words than no. I was thinking about what Matt said about it on the stream yesterday, and I didn't want to.
Not going to talk about that.
But yeah, the AT-TE chase was very cool, like very tight through the streets, and they were moving really fast. Like walkers usually take so long to move, but it was cool. It was cool to see that kind of 'cause, a lot of people out there like those tanks, those AT-TEs, and yeah. It was cool to actually see them in action. That wasn't Geonosis or just some big battle against the droids or something. They were in battle against each other.
Yeah. I thought walking over each other. I just find it so funny whenever they like walk over each other. Like when one ship falls and they just like climb over the other, and I'm like, there's people inside, and you're just like killing them.
Hey,
but it's fine.
That's the Empire.
They don't care. I know.
Yeah. Like, Something important like with that though is I love how this entire mission, the batch, they were set to stun the entire time. They were not out to kill anyone. They were just in to get their guy and get out of there. Which is just really cool to see them acting as an actual stealth unit finally, which is like what their squad is like supposed to be.
Right.
And it was cool to actually like see that in action and how they still care that they don't want to be killing any of like their reg brothers. And it's just like, wait a second, you guys, are you thinking of it that way? Because are you gonna go talk about Crosshair? Like what's going on with that? Like
yes, where is he? How's he doing?
How is he doing? Is he all right?
Literally, how is he doing?
Is he gonna be all burnt up and scarred? He has to be, right?
Probably.
He has to be the iconic bad guy with his little scars and stuff.
It's
emo boy.
He's gonna come back.
He's gonna come back eventually.
He does.
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next week, Crosshair, I hope.
Hopefully.
I never thought I would be in a position where I was like, oh yeah, like I want to see like what's like going on with Crosshair, because like they really haven't like acted that much about it like in the show, but there's so much like actual like fan wants for him to be in the show. It makes you appreciate it more, and then this is how we get disappointed over things, unfortunately.
Ooh.
So I have but like I don't know. It's just like, I hope that we see him soon. Like, I truly want to know, is he all right? Like, what's going to happen? And I want the batch to like be like, hey, we should do something about Crosshair, because like they do care about him. But they seem to not care about him. Because
you know
they're not giving a crap about him.
Do you know what next week's episode's called?
What?
Devil's Deal.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Who's the devil? What's happening? It can't be Sid, because like Sid like trusts them now, and like
Sid has a heart of gold. We've seen it.
Maybe it has to do with Crosshair. Maybe not.
Is Crosshair the devil?
He's already made the Devil's Deal. It seems like
he didn't make a deal. This was completely involuntary.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
This deal didn't even happen. There was no deal.
True.
Good point.
Oh no.
But yeah,
Sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
I still think that I don't know. I mean, I've listened to a lot of people and their opinion on Crosshairs, and a lot of people think that, you know, obviously when we've seen people or clones talk about them that have switched like from the chip and then come back to like who they really are, and they're like, yeah, we knew everything that was going on, like we just couldn't stop it. I wonder if Crosshairs, like a lot of people think that Crosshair obviously knows what's going on and is slowly not trying to fight it anymore, because he's keep on seeing the Bad Batch choose Omega over him. And it seems like they just have completely gone over the fact that Crosshair is just like gone, like it's never going to happen again. And so I wonder if Crosshair, even if they get his chip out or something, if he'll be for the Empire, because he just saw how fast they turned on him. So I personally believe that he's going to come in and save the day, and then I do think he's going to die at the end of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I think he's going to have like a redemption.
Yeah.
I agree.
As much as I love that, I'm so sick of the redemption where, I mean, I'm going to sound hypocritical, AJ, because I actually like Ben Solo's death, but I'm tired of the redemption and death trope over and over again. I want Crosshair to come back, and I want season 2 to have 6 members of the Bad Batch, or sorry, 7. Sorry,
Gonky.
Yes, there you go. How do I want to explain this? So, like, I agree with that, everything that's been said so far. But I think that with the whole, they're conscious of what's happening when they're under the influence of the chip. The Crosshair has really only interacted with them once since he's left, and it was everything on Braca. And he missed. His shots missed, and he doesn't miss. And I think that's a big piece of it. Did he miss on purpose, or did he miss because there's too much going on in his head? Like I feel like it could go either way. Like he's actively fighting it so much, because he easily could have sniped like tech off of the thing, and then he easily just could have shot Omega, but he didn't. So
I like that theory.
He missed, and he doesn't miss.
It's the whole Chewie shooting, and not to bring up Kylo again, but shooting Kylo in like the hip rather than straight on. Yeah, that's right. Subconsciously he's thinking about these are his brothers and whatnot. Yeah, and I like that. I haven't thought of that, but We've never talked about that. That's good.
I wonder though, like, if he's ever gonna stop, like, missing, I guess, because that was before he got freaking marshmallowed. So
That's true.
who knows if like he was like, dude, you like roasted me, so we're done. I'm stop fighting it. Like, there's no point. So I wonder if he will ever, you know, just stop fighting it, or if he will continue to fight it. I don't know. Crosshair just doesn't seem like the guy that would keep fighting over being constantly like betrayed by them over and over again.
He needs more time on screen, because all of these thoughts are just things that all of us and all of the fans are thinking, because we just straight up have not seen him enough to have these thoughts of what is he actually thinking.
We get a glimpse of it in episode 3, whenever it's like the split episode when they're stuck on the moon and it follows Crosshair with his crew. He goes into the old room and he's like looking around and he's like, this is different. Like, he kind of has like a little bit of a thought there, which is cool.
But we don't know what the thoughts are. We don't know. Is it does he miss them, or he's like, I'm glad these guys are gone? Like, which
could be either.
Which
Let
one
me go
is
shoot
it?
Civilians. I'll be back.
And then war crimes are going on. So like we just need to like see him more on the show. That's it at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and that age why I
so
bought
good.
the Crosshair Funko. You were very surprised that I did, but that is why I did. Because
Redemption, hold it on.
No, I need the full set. That's why.
And we have Omega.
And we have Omega.
So we have the full set.
And I have the ship.
They didn't make
Echo
Gonki.
and
Though.
Wrecker on the way. They didn't make Gonki. Have they ever made a Gonk Funko?
I don't think
They made the ones from Solo that like fought each other in the cage. But we never got
that's
that.
Right.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a random like duo one with like the saw blades.
They should have made like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots game out of that.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
That would have been great. L3 wouldn't have been happy, but
no,
that would have been cool.
Not at all. Not at all. She
rest in peace, miss her.
I do have a question of the week.
Okay.
Are we done with the Bad Batch? Was there anything else?
I think because we went off about Crosshair, so
true. So, question of the week, which I had for last week, but we never got to use, is you're in a hallway. It's in a post-Order 66 clone army, or I guess any army, but that's what I wanted to use to relate it to the Bad Batch, is after you, coming down the hallway, and you can pick one Jedi to defend you. Who's it going to be?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we also a Jedi, or are we just ourselves?
You're just yourself.
We're
you can't do anything. You're a Gonk droid.
Can it be like any Jedi or Jedi that's alive?
I guess any Jedi.
Any.
Jeez.
Okay. Interesting question, AJ.
Jedi that is alive would be cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Any Force user.
Okay.
I don't know if that really is a huge distinction.
Well, I thought about Maul.
Oh, so now we're going dark side too?
Oh, Mr. Sith Beanie over there.
Okay, Jedi. It's just saying Jedi.
Reel it back in. Let's
I got excited.
Okay. So you're running down a hallway with an army chasing after you. Pick a Jedi to protect you.
Yeah. There's
From
more
the
so
army.
back against the wall. They're coming towards you, and you need one Jedi to defend you. That's my visual.
Okay. I am going to pick Obi-Wan Kenobi.
As you should.
Solid choice.
Because I feel like he would just be the best, and we would figure out something quickly to slip away. Because he would do what he could, and then we would just eat out of there. That'd be that. That's it. There you go.
Smart.
Not.
Oh, goodness.
Either Matt or Dodge, whoever wants to go next.
You got one or okay. I'm gonna go really controversial with this one.
Oh boy.
As you should.
Of course.
Super controversial. I'm going with Pong Krell.
That is very controversial.
Because he is very good at killing clones.
That's true.
So I'm in.
Very smart choice. You're trying to save your life.
Help me out. I can't do this on my own.
So if he takes out all the clones, and then what happen? Do you and him just go your separate ways, or
yeah, I shake his many hands, and then I walk through
all 4 of them. Or whatever.
I am out. What beef does he have with me? And I'm just a.
I thought it was Order 66. I didn't think it was just any time with the clones chasing us. I just thought it was
Dodge asked.
You can change it. You change it.
No, I like the anytime.
Anytime. All right.
Anytime.
Okay.
But Obi-Wan's still a good
So-
choice. I would
Yeah.
have picked him.
I almost picked him.
What you got?
I have to go with my boy Qui-Gon because I feel like he would be so nice to the clones. He would be like, guys, let's talk about this. Why are you chasing after us? Like, I was thinking about like who would be the best Jedi to like kebab them, but I don't think I would want to be in their presence. So I was like, maybe Qui-Gon can convince them or distract them while I escape or something. Also, I love him and his luscious locks.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe
I can just
those will help.
see the wind blowing down the hall through his hair. He pulls out like
Yeah.
a table and some drinks, sits down. You went in the complete opposite direction as me. You're like, oh, you know, who can have a nice conversation with them while I slip out? And I'm just like, who can murder them all really fast?
I love
Who can
it.
just mow these dudes down.
I'm
Both work.
Both ideas.
I'm gonna bring us totally full circle here. And I'm picking the fried chicken himself, Plo Koon,
Ah,
because
Why?
you can't diss his lightsaber skills because he died flying.
True.
We're not flying
true.
here.
true.
We're in a hallway, and he's getting his hallway
point.
scene right here.
All right.
Or
Mm.
he's either gonna be badass and take everyone out, or he's gonna be like, remember that whole "not to me" thing?
Yeah, he's gonna be super sad,
And
dude.
they're gonna be like, oh,
he's
no,
not gonna be able to kill them.
all the chips are gonna malfunction. They're gonna be like, oh, this is the dude that didn't think we were expendable.
Whoa.
And then we'll all leave. We'll go to the movies. We'll hang out.
Wow, that's
We'll get mantell mix.
He's gonna
Dad.
adopt all of us.
a good payoff. Wow.
Wow.
Adoption process. Get out the papers.
I
Yeah.
love this. We
was
have the
good.
murderer, we have the master and apprentice, and then we have the dad.
The
There you go. This is wow. That
That was good.
was a good
A
question.
good
AJ.
group. A good group.
Great group.
Yeah. I think they'd all get along. Probably not.
No.
Sure.
That'd be interesting.
Yikes.
Qui-Gon and Plo.
Well,
and
three of
Plo
them.
would get
Three of
along.
them would. Obi-Wan,
Mhm.
Qui-Gon, and Plo Koon would get along just fine. Pon
Yeah.
Krell would be talking in the theater, and all of his various
He's going to
arms
the movies?
filled with snacks.
Yeah, I said I was taking my crew to the movies.
You went to the
Look.
movies. They're all in the movies. Pon
Pong
Krell
Girl
has
would not
like
be invited.
4
he would
buckets
not-
of popcorn, and he's just going nuts.
Pong Krell reminds me of
Talking, he's making noises. I mean, he's just a terrible, terrible person.
he reminds me of Bubble Bass from SpongeBob.
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't know why.
Pickles.
Yeah, well, that's why he's grumpy. He has to hide the pickles under his tongue all day.
Okay. Wow, we almost made it the entire episode without a SpongeBob reference,
True.
but there it is, AJ.
There
You
it
ruined
is.
it.
No.
We'll have to redo the whole thing. So
That's it.
Stand
We're
by.
gonna
From
From the top.
No. Good Lord. That's it. Thank you so much, Dodge. Thank you so much for coming on the HoloNet Marauders podcast. We loved having you.
Thank
Where
you so
can
much
we
for having me.
where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Mando_what's_up. Really difficult name. Don't know why. I don't know. I should change it. I'm thinking about it. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't really post on TikTok anymore, but those are my social medias. You can find the Ladylorians at Ladylorians on everything, or the Ladylorians show on YouTube, or on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, and Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, those type of things.
Perfect. We'll tag it. I will do my best to find it. I follow you, but
No,
I
you're
will find
good. You're good. No worries.
we'll tag you, and then HoloNet Marauders. You can find us on social media. All the social medias at HoloNet Marauders. On Twitter, it is just at HoloNet Marauder. No S, because Twitter is weird with the length of their usernames. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the HoloNet Marauders podcast. We'll see you next time.